Before you spend another Canadian quarter, take a closer look. You could be holding a collector's treasure. Today we're featuring 3 Canadian 25-cent coins, including the famous 1867 to 1992 Confederation commemorative quarter. While millions were made, certain rare years, mint errors, and collectible varieties are the ones collectors search for. Don't assume every quarter is worth just 25 cents. Watch until the end to discover which Canadian quarters could become the hidden gems in your collection. The Canadian 25-cent commemorative coin series covering the years from 1867 to 1992 represents a fascinating journey through Canada's history, culture, and national identity. While many people see Canadian quarters as simple pocket change, certain commemorative issues can become highly desirable when they have unique characteristics, rare errors, exceptional condition, or unusual production details. A coin from this long historical period should never be judged only by its age. Some older coins are common, while some modern commemorative quarters can attract serious collector interest because of their design, limited production, or unusual mistakes during manufacturing. The first thing collectors should examine is the overall design and authenticity of the coin. Canadian 25-cent coins feature different designs depending on the year and commemorative event. Some celebrate important moments in Canadian history, such as Confederation, national anniversaries, wildlife themes, cultural events, or special celebrations. These designs often make the coins more attractive to collectors because they tell a story beyond their face value. When examining a commemorative Canadian quarter, begin with the obverse side. Look for the portrait of the reigning monarch, the inscriptions, the year, and the details around the edge. Small differences in lettering, spacing, or the placement of design elements can sometimes separate a regular coin from a collectible variety. The reverse side is equally important because commemorative designs often contain the most valuable clues. Check the main image carefully. Look at small details such as animals, symbols, leaves, buildings, numbers, and lettering. A tiny mistake in these areas can sometimes indicate a minting error. One of the most important checks is the weight. A normal Canadian 25-cent coin from the modern era generally follows a specific weight standard depending on the exact issue and composition. Collectors should always weigh their coin and compare it with the official specifications for that exact year. If the coin weighs more or less than expected, it may indicate something unusual, such as a wrong planchet, an incorrect metal composition, or another minting problem. However, weight alone does not prove that a coin is rare. A difference can also happen because of dirt, damage, corrosion, or modifications made after the coin left the mint. A true error must match the characteristics of a genuine minting mistake. One interesting category of errors is the wrong planchet error. The planchet is the blank metal disc used before the coin receives its design. If a Canadian quarter is accidentally struck on a planchet meant for another denomination, the final coin can have unusual characteristics. It may have a different weight, unusual color, different thickness, or incomplete design details around the edges. Another error collectors search for is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank coin is not properly positioned between the dies before striking. The result is a design that appears shifted to one side, leaving part of the coin blank. A strong off-center error with the date still visible is usually much more desirable because collectors can identify the exact coin. Broad strike errors are another possibility. These occur when the collar that controls the coin's shape does not work correctly during striking. The coin may become wider than normal, with unusual edges or stretched design details. A genuine broad strike should look naturally expanded, not damaged by tools or pressure after production. Collectors also look for doubled details. A double die error occurs when the die itself contains a duplicated image before striking the coins. This can create visible doubling on letters, numbers, or design elements. However, not every blurry or doubled appearance is valuable. Many coins show machine doubling, which usually appears flat and does not carry the same collector interest. Another area to inspect is the edge. The edge of a quarter can reveal important information. Depending on the coin's composition and year, the edge may show different characteristics. Unusual thickness, missing details, strange coloring, or unexpected markings can sometimes indicate a possible error. Condition is also extremely important. A heavily circulated coin with scratches, dents, and worn details will usually attract less attention than a high-grade example with original surfaces. Collectors often look for coins with sharp details, clean fields, strong lettering, and attractive natural appearance. But collectors should be careful with cleaning. A shiny coin is not always a valuable coin. Many old coins have been damaged by polishing, chemicals, or artificial treatments. Cleaning can remove the original surface and reduce collector interest. If you believe you have a rare coin, protect it and avoid making changes. The value range of $37,590 to $110,660 does not represent an ordinary Canadian 25-cent commemorative coin. Values at this level would require an exceptional example, such as a major authenticated mint error, unusual composition, extreme rarity, or a top-quality certified specimen. Most commemorative quarters will not reach these levels, but every coin deserves a careful inspection. Check the weight, compare the design, examine the lettering, inspect the edge, and look for any unusual features that separate the coin from a normal example. A small quarter can carry a huge piece of history. Sometimes the difference between an ordinary coin and a valuable collectible is hidden in a tiny detail that most people never notice. Keep searching, because the next coin you examine could reveal something truly unexpected. Before you spend this 2,000 Canadian quarter, check the tiny details, because one unusual feature could make it far more valuable than its face value. The Canadian 25-cent coin from the year 2000 is an interesting piece for collectors because it belongs to a period when Canada continued producing special designs and circulating commemorative quarters. Many people see these coins every day and assume they are only worth 25 cents, but certain examples can become highly desirable when they contain a genuine mint error, an unusual variety, exceptional condition, or a production mistake that makes them different from normal coins. The first thing collectors should understand is that the year alone does not make a 2,000 Canadian quarter rare. Millions of coins can be produced in a single year, and most examples remain common. The real interest comes from the small details that separate an ordinary coin from a collector piece. On the obverse side, the coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, along with the inscriptions showing Canada's official coin design. The year 2000 appears as part of the coin's identification. When examining this side, collectors should look closely at the lettering, the portrait details, and the overall quality of the strike. Small problems around the letters, unusual spacing, missing details, or strange raised areas can sometimes indicate a possible minting issue. However, it is important to remember that damage from circulation, scratches, cleaning, or environmental effects can create appearances that look like errors but are not original mint mistakes. The reverse side of the Canadian quarter depends on the exact issue and commemorative design. Many Canadian quarters from this era feature unique themes connected to Canadian history, wildlife, culture, or national celebrations. These designs are often the reason collectors pay special attention because small design changes or errors can become valuable. When checking a 2,000 Canadian 25-cent coin, always begin with the weight. Collectors should weigh the coin they have and compare it with the official specifications for that exact quarter. If the coin weighs more or less than the standard weight, it could indicate something unusual. A different weight may suggest a wrong planchet, incorrect metal composition, missing layer, or another unusual minting situation. However, weight alone does not prove that a coin is rare. A difference can happen because of dirt, corrosion, damage, or material stuck to the surface. A true valuable error must show characteristics that match a real production mistake from the mint. One of the most interesting errors collectors search for is a wrong planchet error. A planchet is the blank metal piece used before the coin receives its design. If a Canadian quarter is accidentally struck on the wrong metal blank, the final coin may have a different color, unusual weight, different thickness, or incomplete design details. These mistakes are rare because the mint normally controls the production process carefully. Another important error is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank coin is not positioned correctly between the dies before striking. The result is a coin where the design appears shifted toward one side, leaving part of the coin blank. A strong off-center Canadian quarter with the date still visible can attract more attention from collectors because it remains easy to identify. Collectors should also inspect the edge of the coin. The edge can reveal information that the front and back do not show. Look for unusual thickness, missing details, strange coloring, or an appearance that does not match another normal quarter. Sometimes errors become easier to identify when comparing the coin side by side with a regular example. Another possible error is a broad strike. A broad strike occurs when the collar used during striking does not properly hold the coin in place. The metal can spread outward, creating a coin that appears wider than normal. The design may look stretched, and the edge may appear different. A genuine broad strike should have a natural appearance from the minting process, not damage caused after the coin entered circulation. Die cracks and cuds are also important areas to check. A die crack appears as a raised line on the surface of the coin. This happens when a crack forms in the die, and the metal flows into that crack during striking. A normal scratch is different because it is usually a cut into the surface. When a die crack becomes larger and reaches the edge, it can create a cud. A cud is a raised area of extra metal that can cover parts of the design. Large and clear cuds are usually more interesting to collectors than small, minor die marks. Another detail to examine is possible doubling. Some coins appear to have doubled letters or numbers. However, many examples show machine doubling, which usually appears flat and does not carry significant value. A true double die error shows clear separation, stronger definition, and duplication that is part of the original raised design. Condition also plays a major role. A heavily circulated quarter with scratches, dents, and worn details will usually be less valuable than a coin with original surfaces and sharp details. Collectors often prefer coins with strong strikes, clean fields, and natural appearance. The value range of $30,300 to $86,450 does not represent a normal 2000 Canadian quarter found in everyday change. To reach values in that range, the coin would need to be an exceptional example with a major authenticated mint error, unusual composition, extreme rarity, or a high-quality certified grade. Most 2000 Canadian 25-cent coins will not reach those levels, but every coin deserves a careful inspection. Check the weight, compare the design, examine the edge, and look for unusual features before deciding its value. Never clean a potentially valuable coin, because polishing or chemicals can destroy important evidence. Store it safely, compare it with a normal example, and consider professional evaluation if you find something unusual. A small Canadian quarter may look ordinary at first, but one hidden detail can completely change its story. Keep searching, because the next coin you check could reveal a rare discovery. Before you spend this 2018 Canadian quarter, look closely, because a tiny minting mistake could make this small coin far more interesting. The Canadian 25-cent coin from 2018 is a modern piece that many people overlook because it is still a recent circulation coin. However, collectors know that age is not the only factor that creates value. A newer coin can become desirable if it contains a genuine mint error, an unusual variety, an unexpected composition issue, or an exceptional condition that separates it from millions of normal examples. The first thing collectors should understand is that a 2018 Canadian quarter is not automatically rare just because it has a modern date. The real value comes from the details. A normal coin may only be worth its face value, while a coin with a verified production mistake can attract serious attention from collectors. On the obverse side, the coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, along with the inscriptions used on Canadian circulation coins. The year 2018 identifies when the coin was produced. When examining this side, collectors should carefully inspect the portrait, the lettering, the spacing between words, and the overall quality of the strike. Small differences can sometimes reveal something unusual. Look for missing details, unusual raised areas, doubled lettering, or strange marks that appear to be part of the original design. However, always remember that scratches, dents, cleaning marks, and damage from circulation are not considered mint errors. The reverse side of a 2018 Canadian 25-cent coin depends on the exact issue. Canada has produced many different quarter designs, including standard circulation designs, commemorative themes, wildlife designs, and special collector releases. These designs often create interest because small production mistakes can make certain examples stand out. One of the most important checks is the weight. Collectors should always weigh the coin they have and compare it with the official specifications for that exact issue. If the coin weighs more or less than the standard weight, it could indicate something unusual. A heavier or lighter coin may suggest a wrong planchet, incorrect metal, missing layer, or another possible minting problem. But weight alone is not enough. A coin can weigh differently because of dirt, corrosion, damage, or material attached to the surface. A true valuable error must show characteristics that match a genuine mistake during the minting process. One of the most interesting errors collectors search for is a wrong planchet error. The planchet is the blank metal disc used before the coin receives its design. If a quarter is accidentally struck on a planchet meant for another denomination, the final coin can have unusual characteristics. It may have a different weight, different color, unusual thickness, or incomplete design details near the edges. Another important error is an off-center strike. This happens when the blank coin is not positioned correctly between the dies before striking. The result is a design that appears shifted toward one side, leaving part of the coin blank. A strong off-center error with the date still visible is usually more desirable because collectors can clearly identify the coin. When checking a 2018 Canadian quarter, examine the entire design carefully. Look at the portrait, the date, the lettering, the main reverse image, and the edge. Sometimes the most valuable clue is not on the front or back but along the side of the coin. The edge can reveal important information. Check for unusual thickness, missing details, strange coloring, or an appearance that does not match another normal quarter. Comparing the coin with another example from the same year is one of the easiest ways to notice differences. Collectors also search for broad strike errors. A broad strike occurs when the collar that controls the shape of the coin does not work correctly during striking. The metal can spread outward, creating a coin that appears wider than normal. The design may look stretched, and the edges may appear unusual. A genuine broad strike should look natural and consistent with the minting process. A coin that looks bent, pressed, or damaged after leaving the mint is not the same thing. Another category to inspect is die cracks and cuds. A die crack appears as a raised line on the surface of the coin. This happens when a crack forms in the die, and the metal flows into that crack during striking. A normal scratch is different because it cuts into the surface after production. When a die crack becomes larger and reaches the edge of the coin, it can create a cud. A cud is a raised area of extra metal that can cover parts of the design. Large and clearly visible cuds can attract collector interest because they are direct evidence of a damaged die. Doubling is another feature that many collectors look for. Some coins appear to have doubled letters, numbers, or design elements. However, not every doubled appearance is valuable. Machine doubling often looks flat and weak, while a true doubled die shows stronger separation and detail within the original design. Condition is also a major factor. A heavily circulated coin with scratches, dents, and worn details will usually have less collector appeal than a coin with sharp details and original surfaces. High-grade examples with strong strikes and clean appearance can become much more desirable. However, never clean a coin that may be valuable. Polishing, chemicals, or abrasive cleaning can destroy the original surface and reduce collector interest. If you believe you have something unusual, protect it and examine it carefully before making any changes. The value range of $15,150 to $55,350 does not represent a normal 2018 Canadian 25-cent coin. Values in that range would require an exceptional example, such as a major authenticated mint error, unusual composition, extreme rarity, or a top-quality certified specimen. Most 2018 Canadian quarters will not reach these prices, but every coin deserves a careful inspection. Check the weight, compare the design, examine the edge, and look for anything unusual that separates your coin from a normal example. A small quarter can sometimes hold a surprising story. The difference between an ordinary coin and a valuable collectible may be hidden in one tiny detail that most people never notice. Keep checking your coins carefully, because the next discovery could be the one that changes everything.